Hi students, in the last video, that is third video of the chapter Nationalism in India, we learned about the Salt March and the civil disobedience movement. In this video, we will study how participants saw the movement and the limits of civil disobedience movement. Different social groups actively participated in the civil disobedience movement. Here few questions arise. Why did they join the movement? What were their ideals? What did Swaraj mean to them? Each group of people had different expectations from the movement. Let us learn about it. First, rich peasants. Rich peasant communities such as Patidars of Gujarat and Jats of Uttar Pradesh were active in the movement. Trade depression and falling prices caused a decrease in the cash income of these rich peasant communities. They decided to oppose the high revenue demands of the government through their participation in the civil disobedience movement. For them, the fight for Swaraj was a struggle against high revenues. They were disappointed when civil disobedience movement was called off. Second, poor peasants. The poorer peasantry found difficulties in paying their rent due to the depression and decrease in the cash income. They wanted the unpaid rent to the landlord to be remitted. They joined a variety of radical movements, often led by socialists. In most places, Congress was unwilling to support poor peasants, fearing it might upset the rich peasants. Third, business classes. The business class wanted protection against imports of foreign goods and a fixed exchange ratio that could discourage imports. They also opposed the colonial policies that restricted business activities. To organize business interests, they set up Indian Industrial and Commercial Congress in 1920 and Federation of the Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industries FICCI in 1927. The business class, under the leadership of prominent industrialists such as Purushottam Das, Thakur Das, and G.D. Birla, attacked colonial control over the Indian economy and supported civil disobedience movement when it was first launched. They gave financial assistance and refused to buy or sell imported goods. Failure of Round Table Conference lost their interest in civil disobedience movement. Growing socialism in Congress and militant activities kept them away from civil disobedience movement when relaunched. Fourth, workers. Industrial workers did not participate in the civil disobedience movement in large numbers. Limited participation due to closeness of Congress with the business community. Engaged in some sort of boycott against low wages and poor working conditions. Fifth, women. Another important feature of the civil disobedience movement was the large-scale participation of women. Women also participated in protest marches manufactured salt, and picketed foreign cloth and liquor shops. Even went to jail, and they began to see service to nation as a sacred duty. And for a long time, the Congress was not willing to allow women to hold any position of authority within the organization. Next, let us learn about the limits of civil disobedience movement. We have discussed the social groups who participated in civil disobedience movement. That doesn't mean everyone in the society was with this movement. One such group was the untouchables or Dalits. For long, the Congress had ignored the Dalits for fear of offending the Sanatanis. Sanatanis means high caste Hindus. But Gandhiji opposed all forms of untouchability and called them Harijans or the children of God, and dignified their work, organized satyagraha for their entry into temples and other public places. Many Dalit leaders like Ambedkar sought political empowerment. They demanded reservation of seats and separate electorates. Ambedkar organized Depressed Classes Association in 1930 and demanded separate electorates in Second Round Table Conference. Gandhiji was against the demand of separate electorates. Pune Pact of September 1932 between Gandhiji and Ambedkar granted reserved constituencies to Dalits. Dalits, however, remained uneasy towards national movement. Some of the Muslim political organizations were also not active in the civil disobedience movement. There were reasons why they were not active in the civil disobedience movement. Let us see about those reasons. Decline of Khilafat non-cooperation movement alienated Muslims from Congress. Open association of Congress with the Hindu Mahasabha to widen the gap. Militant passions in both communities provoked clashes. Difference cropped up on the issue of representation in future assemblies. The leader of the Muslim League, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, wanted reserved seats for Muslims in Central Assembly, which Hindu Mahasabha rejected. Both communities were filled with suspicion and distrust. Muslims feared domination by Hindus and loss of their cultural identity. Large sections of Muslims did not participate in the civil disobedience movement.